Hi, and welcome Beyond the Racing Line, the Formula 1 podcast by fans, for fans. It seems like an age since the last episode. Having 2 weeks off really gets you out of whack, but I'll tell you what, we're pleased to be back. Oscar's back on top. It was a fine weekend. It was a great track. We had a little bit of wet weather. What more could you ask for as an Australian supporter of motorsport, but a supporter of motorsport in general? And I'm joined by Tristan and Shane. Hello, Tristan.
Hello, mates.
Hello,
Welcome
Shane.
back.
Hello. How are you?
Feels like a little mini sort of break that we didn't need as we get ready for
It did.
the summer break, which we hate.
It caught us all by surprise. I actually went looking for practice.
Did you?
On 2 weekends ago, last weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is it? I've lost it. And I was like, oh, we're a week away.
I find in those really big gaps, I start to really tune more into F3 and F2 because I've missed it for so long. Well, we went 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks we went without or 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, which is not a long
2 weekends,
time.
so 3 weeks, yeah.
So I'm more ready for motorsport, and I was hooked into F2 and F3. I doubt I'll be that into it this round, but I just needed that nourishment.
How are you feeling about recording on a Monday? We're a day early.
Oh, look, you know what throws me?
It does
Because
throw you.
it's I like routine. I haven't got Fan Frenzy up, so we won't have Fan Frenzy this week unless we get one up, and then people can just get it in.
Well, I put a post up.
Did you? Okay,
for
all right.
the points of the All Signs
Okay,
Drivers
all right.
Champion. Yep.
All right, so it'll be like a modified Fan Frenzy.
Yes. We might be able to add a few little comments here and there.
And I do like my
towards the end of the
newsread night. This is my newsread night, but I haven't had a chance to
all
do
the
that.
news, all the retrospective news comes out. But anyway,
Yep,
it's not happening.
Anyway, that's all right.
I'm going to sunny Queensland,
we'll
so
motor on.
we have to go early.
That's
Had to
fair.
rub it in. Didn't you?
Yes,
Had to rub it in.
Yep.
It'll rain when you get there.
Well, fingers crossed.
Evil people. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Wow. Isn't Spa just a great place to go racing? And I tell you what, I thought it was a great spot for a sprint race weekend. Shane?
Yeah, but it didn't actually deliver in terms of quality, but it is a great place. Any race there is fantastic. It just didn't quite get to the heights you were hoping. It's just so hard to overtake.
Yeah, which is a bit unusual for this track. It seemed like overtaking was a little harder than it has been in the past here.
Yeah. I wonder if they need to redesign the bus stop back to, and I don't know. But yeah, you used to be able to get passes into the bus stop chicane, not quite happening. And then
I think there's a theory the next wings are going to be all right for it. So I think that's what their hope is that they're taking the next step in being able to combat the lack of overtaking. So, yeah, but no, it felt like it was a little bit tricky. Do you enjoy the sprint race weekend at Belgium?
Absolutely not. I thought this was hands down the worst sprint of the year in every way, shape and form. 15 laps is nowhere near enough to do anything of any substance. And then it was over, and by the time you're just getting into it, it's sort of that'll do. This was the first one for a very long time that I had a much bigger preference for a practice session over 15 laps.
I couldn't agree less with you because I was so excited about the fact that we're getting like qualifying instead of a practice, and then we're getting a race instead of a practice session, and the race for that matter was at 8 o'clock our time.
Oh, that was terrific! I love that.
And so that element of things,
that was nice.
And so I actually had family over, and I was like, oh, we might watch the race, and he's like, is there a race on at a decent time? I was like, yes.
Yeah, which is rare for us.
And so, so for that element, I'm with you. The race itself wasn't brilliant,
Just
and I actually think sprints work better on shorter tracks, where you can get a few more of the extra laps in. You do have to have overtaking abilities. But yeah, so I think it's probably better suited that. I just loved having a sprint race weekend because it's so full. I just love the fullness of the weekend.
I think like 25 laps would have been nice. You could have given me another 10 and I'd probably be a bit happier with it, but it wasn't enough.
I'm not sure. Do you think anything else is going to happen in that sprint race?
Maybe, but it just, as I said, it wasn't enough. I sort of felt like, oh, okay, is that it? Yep.
Yeah, so 25 those over half race distance at that track, so that's a hard one.
And that's probably why it's not, I don't think it's a great sprint. You're right, like a shorter circuit, we go to Brazil, like that's a perfect one.
I think Austria is always a good spot for a sprint.
Austria's perfect. It's short, you can get lots of laps in. It feels like there's a lot more going on. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And they did announce the sprint races for next week, next year apparently.
Did they? I haven't seen that.
Singapore's one, but I can't remember the other ones. But Singapore, my son jumped up and down.
We might be able to bring the rest to you by the end of the episode.
That's good. Maybe I'll have my news night live.
I'd love to have Australia be a sprint race weekend, just because I want to experience it. It's just not going to happen for the first round because of all the practice sessions that's needed for round one. But yeah, I think I'd just love to experience that weekend. Overall race ranking.
Well,
Are we including sprint in that?
I'm
whole
not,
race
I'm
weekend
not.
or just
We'll
the
go
race?
the race.
Just
correct.
go-
We'll go the race.
Okay.
it's a 9.5.
Whoa!
It's a 9.5. I was on the
Jesus.
edge of my seat
I couldn't agree more.
for hours. The 0.5 loss is because we just got a little bit sooky because it was a bit wet, and we waited till it was the middle of summer really before we got started, and that really just
All aboard!
frustrated
I'm
the
glad to see
hell out
everyone's
of me.
jumped on board my Suki Lala that I had the other week.
If we had started in the correct time with a bit of wet weather, then yeah, it's a 10. But I'll tell you what, I was talking to a friend this morning. I don't think I could talk race on track today because I spent 30 laps glued to the timing interval. I didn't...
I saw very little cars.
I was not focused on the track action
Yeah.
or anything that was on my screen. I was watching
It
that
was
8,
watch
7,
that time.
5, 7,
Yep.
8, and I was beside myself. I'm not...
It was stressful, wasn't it?
I remember we talked about this a month ago where it was easy. It's not anymore.
Let's see. Just to put you in
stressful.
perspective, I'm an Essendon supporter, and if you don't know how Essendon are going this year, they're going terribly.
Not good.
And I'm loving the season because there is no stress
expectation.
involved in it.
It's becoming...
And I tell you what, a no expectation Formula 1 year can be good. I mean, I am loving this battle. It is a
hard work.
fantastic battle, but being so invested in somebody in that battle.
And we're in front. And I say we
Yes.
because we
Oh,
sort of
it is
represent
we.
collective
It
of
is-
Australia.
It
and
is we.
You know,
That's
we're going to
right.
be biased this
That's
week.
right. But no, it is. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay, that's
and I'm
fair.
taking a point and a half off because of the stress that it put me under.
That's fair.
Watching this morning, I was, for the first time I've ever had it,
Yeah.
I was desperate to fast forward because I had to know the result because
yeah.
it was painful.
Yeah, you got to sit
I was
through
like,
it.
is he going to catch him?
Ah,
So yeah,
it's
no,
bloody
but
2
it
a.m.
was
and
fantastic. I'll look back a whole lot more fondly than what I experienced this morning. I am absolutely sure of it because it was a bit of a classic, wasn't it?
Yep, 8.5. And I was really annoyed because I got up to watch it the night. When the red flag happened, I thought, nah, this is going to linger. So I went back to bed until 4 and then got up at 4 and started the process. And as you said, you just wanted to go forward. You know, you just wanted to go forward. When the gap was coming down, the gap was coming down.
Yep.
Gap was
Just needed something. But anyway, I did hold back.
See, I made a crumpet and had a Red Bull and then just...
this morning.
No, well, that was about 1 o'clock when the red flag came out because I knew the time and
You had a Red Bull.
I had a Red Bull.
at
I'm
1
fully-
o'clock.
Yeah, I'm fully committed.
You fool
I'm
moron.
fully
That is
committed. Like, I
ridiculous.
waited and I waited, and then when we got the 20-minute... What was the 20-minute call? And I thought, no, well, I'm not going to bed now. I'm invested in this. So I had Red Bull and made a crumpet with honey. It's delicious.
Well done.
I do like a crumpet with honey.
Yeah, it's good.
We're drinking around the world. We're currently drinking a Belgium wit beer, brand unknown because our reserve driver has come through with the goods.
Oh, is this his?
This has been made by Sam.
I thought it was that.
No,
And I was like,
not that
oh.
yet. No, I went looking for some more interesting Belgian beer because I do have Stella Artois here, which is probably the most generic Belgian beer getting around. And I love
really
a couple
in
of
holiday
I
mode.
love a couple of good Belgian beers. They are incredibly strong usually, but this one's made by Sam, and I must say it's very good.
It is actually quite
For
nice.
a wit beer. What tasting notes you got coming through there?
Well, nowhere near as theatrical as the last month has been. There's no Cirque du Soleil happening in the glass here tonight.
Yes.
It's just plain use your beer in a glass.
Well,
I don't know. It's just beer. I'm not going to try
Yeah,
it.
I'm like you, Tristan. I can't pick
It's
anything
just
out
beer.
of it. It's
There's
just
no
like-
sense to it or anything. like
Coriander.
that. Coriander. Where?
it's the
Where?
bit in it's the bit in there,
Where?
and then
Oh, yeah.
there's orange, I think, notes.
Yeah, there's a bit of fruitiness to it.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It actually tastes. It is very much on track with a Belgian beer. So
couldn't-
thank you, Sam.
Couldn't tell you what coriander tastes like without having a piece of coriander. In front of me.
Sam's off joyriding or test driving American muscle cars in New South Wales at the moment.
Before we get into the race, Roger, I've got to give a shout out to two of our newest subscribers,
Oh,
Zoe
wonderful.
and Millie.
Oh, we have news.
Yeah, they are.
This is big.
Whoa.
Shane's
They
going
wanted
to
to-
shout outs.
Whoa.
They wanted a shout out, so they've got one.
Shout out.
Shout out.
We
Have
should have
you
done it at
been-
the end, so they had to listen all the way through to get to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
now
know
they're
how
gonna tune
well that
up.
sometimes goes.
That's true. Well, that's true.
Are you getting like private requests for shout outs now? Have you got your own little side pod happening
no.
here? Like,
No,
like
I
it.
got them to subscribe today.
you're riding our coattails into your own.
exactly.
I like it. I like
see
it.
how it is.
We might actually have some listeners soon.
Shane shout-outs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This is good. New segment.
Oh gosh,
we'll do anything for a new listener. But yeah, no. So it was it's a nice drop. But yes, let me know when you want another beer, and I've got some more here. But some of the best beer getting around is from Belgium. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on it in Bendigo at this time of night. Opening question, because we're at that point where opening question seems to go later and later and later in the episode, doesn't it? It comes from Kingsley, as always. Kingsley is our official opening question giver for this season, it seems. And he predicted a strong result from Oscar tonight, or last night. And he said, with Oscar's strong result, what should his theme song be as he's heading up to the podium? If you're going to put a theme song on a racing driver. So if you know how sometimes there's a theme song that goes with a footballer or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That was a loud break. That
was a loud break of the Belgian chocolate.
It's the salt of that chocolate.
Well, I'm going to go with Ice Ice Baby.
Oh, for Oscar. That is good. Oh, I like that. I can't beat that now. I love Kasabian. Anytime Kasabian's involved, I think that's a real get up and about. I love when all the fans bounce for Max. I always find that really enjoyable watching them go off for that. I don't know any of those tunes usually. Ice Ice Baby for Piastri is a great one. Tristan?
I reckon like a real tacky 80s song would be like right up there with him.
The haircut's a little bit Back to the Future, isn't it?
Danger Zone or something like that. Yeah, playing with the boys or
Okay.
something like that.
All right, I like it.
I just feel like that would be right up his alley.
Yeah, okay. I think Kingsley actually gave me one. I'll better go and check. Do you want to talk about anything sprint race related? Or will we try and include it when we go through the drivers?
Probably just include it.
Okay.
I don't know. Unless someone's tuning in specifically for sprint race.
No, I don't think so. So practice and whatnot, we saw a really dominant display from Oscar Piastri coming off 2 races where he hadn't necessarily not been the fastest, but he hadn't got the results. He certainly looked the fastest at Silverstone and had that race taken off him in the controversy of slamming on the brakes and all those sorts of things. We've discussed all of that. That win was removed from him, even though he was well on top. And then before that at Austria, he was arguably a little bit quicker than Lando through the race as well. It was a key race, this one, because they've had a couple of weeks out to go and have a look at all those bits and pieces. And I think Shane said to me during the week, if Lando gets this win, it means that there is a shift of momentum officially. And vice versa, I think if Oscar could take this win, it's like, you haven't really been that far. And so my eyes were glued at it. And then to see him come out and practice and to dominate practice the way he was.
Yeah, half a second or something like that, just through the gauntlet.
Yeah, and then sprint qualifying, he was a long way ahead. And so it looked to me like he was well on top. I think come race time, it closed up big time, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it did come race time. Lando's got a real back end that's strong in his race pace, whereas Oscar's starts are very, very good and just seems to have a real consistent pace right across. But I'm not surprised in the way it was delivered by Oscar, because it was almost like, poking the bear. Like we did with Max last year. It was just we're at him, and then we got to Brazil or whatever it was, and bang. And then the margin was 60 points. And it was like, don't even think about it. And it was a little bit of that with Oscar this weekend too, where it had the unfortunate result, then he lost the guaranteed win, because it really was his win, and then it's almost he came back in and went, no, none of any of this.
Yeah, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, bang.
Yep.
This is foot down too.
I'd love to know how much he was holding back during that.
Set
medium stint,
personal best in the last 3 laps, so I think he had a lot still in the tank.
Well, he certainly had some in the tank. Yeah.
And I think the cliff for the hards fell off towards that latest stage as well, where I know Lando had his mistakes that were in there, but
they may have been calls because those
because of the cliff. Yeah,
really
that's right. Which we saw other hard runners start to lock up as well too. I think Charles put him on and then ended up having to lock up, and a couple later on down the field they were starting to.
No, Charles stayed on one.
Charles stayed on the
I thought
medium.
Charles
We had a couple of runners down the end of the field.
Yeah, the back of the field. The back of the field came in, and I don't think it really worked for anybody.
Fernando, I think went too.
I think Fernando went too. Yeah.
Yep. And in terms of the race, we saw the opposite from what Oscar had been through for the sprint race. He put himself on pole, Max, with a really low downforce setup, was able to slipstream him in Camel Straight on the first lap and did the job really nicely. And then that low downforce setup made it really difficult to go and overtake him, even though that McLaren was clearly a better car across the whole track.
Yep.
The overtaking spots just weren't allowing him to do
Absolutely.
it.
I think Red Bull were making the changes that they did for the main race because they put on an extra bit of downforce too.
Yeah.
Because of the wet. And that made perfect sense because when low downforce, knowing the weather was going to be wet, and then made that subtle late change before we ended up racing 90% in the dry, didn't we?
I think probably they go further back, though, if they're low downforce in that wet race.
Yeah.
I don't think they can make it through the way that they...
I reckon they might have. I reckon they might have.
I think that was part of Max's big grumble that they set the car up for wet and then they didn't race it. They waited till it was,
that was
yes, yep. And then, come race time, then we saw Oscar, and this is probably one of my favourite things about Oscar at the moment, is how quickly he learns from very quick, very recent lessons. And so he learnt the Max lesson and then I love the way Anthony Davison broke it down after the race. He stuck with Lando when they got the race moving, and we'll talk about the fact that they didn't get the race moving if you like in a minute, but he stuck with Lando when they got the race moving. And he was like a tenth and a half behind him coming into the final chicane, the bus stop chicane.
Yep.
And it meant that he was right on him, and it put him under that little bit of extra pressure. Lando didn't get the greatest drive out of that last corner.
Had a bit of snap.
Yep. And then they got to turn one. Oscar dummied down the inside, put Lando down the inside to cover him off, and then Oscar just drifted left and gave himself the perfect exit out of that first corner. We saw Lando then have to snap because he'd gone too tight in there just to cover off. And then from there, it was done already.
It was.
Even though he beat him through En Rouge and Radillon, it was impressive to see how close he could stick to him. But he was done so early down the straight. I was a little bit worried that Lando was actually going to get in his slipstream.
Well, I thought the pass was going to happen over the top of Radillon.
Yeah,
that he was just, and knowing as we're learning what Oscar's like, that he would just, I think Monaco and Sainz a couple of years ago, round the outside in turn one.
It was incredibly close.
I'm not going to wait for it. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
But I also think the way that the sprint unfolded helped Oscar too, where he wasn't as downbeat about qualifying second.
No. Yep.
And then you kind of know, if you look back at the history books, that being on pole in Spa is not the best place to be. So while he would have been a little bit down about not having pole, he's probably sat back and gone, oh, actually, this is where I am, and learning, what he couldn't do against Max, and the way he was mugged off the line in the sprint and then didn't make the gains. But yeah, you're right. He was with him on the restart. To the point where I thought we'd already gone. He was so there.
Those instant lessons.
Yeah.
Are just so impressive. I mean, I think we all knew them, but I think it was just, right, this is where I'm going to be at. I've got overnight to think about it, and this is what I'm going to go and do to him. Everything was perfect in that restart for Oscar, and I don't even think Lando necessarily made too many huge mistakes. Obviously, there was a little cover off and a little snap, but I think he was done no matter what he did in the end. I think Oscar was just so onto it, and I think Oscar was so on top throughout the weekend that, there was nothing he was going to be able to do about it, so... Yeah, then we moved into the next phase of the race, which was, rightio, let's see how long the Inters can last. And he built a little gap, but it wasn't anything too crazy.
It wasn't like Silverstone. Where he got away.
Where he drove off to a 14-second...
Which I kind of thought he would. I thought he's pretty handy in the wet. We've had this experience last round. We're just going to skip off down the road.
And we know the McLarens like being in that clear air.
Yep. The move was so critical to that pit stop call. I'm surprised that Lando didn't back off and give himself more space. I feel like we talk about the little, it's been talked about the little errors that Lando made across the race itself, but I kind of feel like that's one that's gone under the radar, that he could have backed off, and rather than being 2 seconds under the wing, he could have given himself 5 or 6 and then got the stack in, thinking about the short-term pain, long-term gain, rather than do a full lap of Spa.
The double stack was definitely the way to go.
Absolutely.
And we do see with Lando... He can apply that pressure, and sometimes there is little openings or windows where it is slightly faster.
But is there an ability to switch on the run, and rather than just be relentless?
Well, they actually did switch on the run to go to the hards.
Oh, but even him, rather than that relentless pressure on the back wing, and just I'll keep at you and at you and at you and at you. Kind of like we see with
Oscar
Lewis
at
and
Austria.
Fernando. Yeah, it's I will find different ways to disrupt you because the first way is not working, but I've got another gear to go to.
Yeah. So anyway, we did see them. We saw the strategy switch. The team. So it was a late call for Oscar to come in, and it wasn't really an option for him to go to the hards, mainly because they called him in later. I mean, it's not like they weren't expecting a pit stop soon, but yeah, he went to the mediums because that was going to be the fastest strategy. As soon as that happens, McLaren's on the radio to Norris, offering him the hards to change it up. What were your thoughts on that?
I was all right with it because I didn't think the hards were going to be...
I'm not asking about strategy.
Well.
I'm asking about
just the actual
what's
call.
right as a team. Is it right as a team to be offering the second driver the strategy to beat the lead driver?
I think that's where McLaren are starting to do a really good job at taking this title out of their hands politically, like to offer different things and then let the driver make the call and have those different options. Oscar said after the race in the post-interview that was my second option as well. So if I had to come in second, I was ready to go. So when I hear that, I'm all right with it because if it was Oscar, we'd be saying it was the right call. Yeah.
Shane?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're not deciding the championship. But, yeah, I know you're coming from the point of view, you're wondering whether they would have offered Oscar that. And
I'm playing devil's advocate to myself. I don't actually agree with this, but there was a little bit on it. There was like, oh.
You're still thinking that Lando's a golden boy.
And there's a little bit, like, occasionally there'll be a bit of coaching go his way.
Yep.
Like in-car coaching go his way.
But he seems to need that.
We
saw that
I couldn't agree more.
We saw this with the Lewis era. Do you remember in the Lewis era, it didn't matter what Lewis did, and we became frustrated with that. I know I did as a fan, that every time a safety car come out, he benefited. And when we needed an extended run on a certain compound, and then we throw to the less preferable one, the win falls in his lap. It's things like that I'm starting to notice are reoccurring for Lando too, where these just little incidental things are resulting in incredibly high successes on track.
There's a few, like, every time they give him a little coaching tip about how to chase down Oscar, there's a little bit of me is like, I don't know where the line is on it. For me, I loved the way they had dealt with the weekend. I love the way. I thought they dealt with it perfectly, where they did give the options. I mean, if Oscar desperately wanted the hard, I'm sure he could have asked for the hard. However, they did call him in really late because that was the perfect time. They gave him the preferential lap, which is what you do with McLaren. Papaya rule says that the lead driver gets the lap. And I'm not even sure, can the second driver pit until that lead driver has pitted?
I have no
idea. Do they have to say, look, the second driver's about to pit. Are you going to take your lap? Is that how it works? I'm not sure. But yeah, there's just, when it comes to a little bit of in-car coaching, I know the engineers are working for the different drivers, and so there's a little bit of an inter-team battle. There's just, for me, there's a little bit, when it comes to in-car coaching, when you're chasing down your leader, it's a bit of you want to make sure that you're giving the equal opportunity to both drivers. I feel like if you're chasing down a different team, absolutely the whole team's behind you. But yeah, you just want to be a little careful where you're going with that. But I actually felt like they dealt with that situation really well. They gave everyone the options. Lando picked it exactly like the way that Oscar said. I would have taken that option. And then after the race, I loved where they're goading him into saying, I would have won that race if it wasn't for the mistakes I made. Lando was so brilliant in saying, no, Oscar was great. Oscar won that race. It wasn't me losing the race. Oscar was the better driver today, and I feel like the team has just got that nailed.
You did mention he thought, I'm sure Oscar made some mistakes too.
Yes, exactly.
Because they were trying to get him to go on.
They were trying to get him to talk about the fact that it was he only lost because of his mistakes, and so I thought he handled that situation really well because I
haven't been impressed with Lando with his media stuff all year, but that actually impressed me because he was shitty when you got out of the car because you could see it when. When Charles went over there, he was shitty. But when that question was asked, something, here we go, we're going to get the silk, and he didn't. He just said, no, Oscar would have made a mistake, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yep. And it's certainly like this, it's always been a talking point, isn't it, when there's two of the same team drivers out in front of the championship. how do they deal with that situation? I feel like they're dealing with it pretty well, considering they're new to this situation as well. There's been plenty of teams that have mucked it up a lot more than what McLaren are. Then we saw, just drove in the distance, got the lap done. We saw some mistakes from Lando, but that was pretty much it. Moving on, we saw Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, the upgraded Ferrari. He managed to come home in third. He held off Max Verstappen. Does anyone else know what happened to Charles Leclerc throughout the race?
Was there another? I didn't know that anyone else raced.
I actually thought there was only. I thought Lando was the only person.
I thought that so too. Actually, yeah. No, I'm sure. Like he did. Some
Lando
good
won, didn't
things.
he? Won, I think Lando won the World Championship on the weekend. Didn't
well,
he?
if you ask people in Sky Sports,
oh
he did.
My god, it was hard to deal with the Sky Sports, wasn't it, over the weekend?
Yeah, that might be done of the day, but we'll get there.
Okay.
I thought Charles was good. It was a nice result for Ferrari. Just a nice result.
It was, yeah.
I think
he was really pleased with it.
He was pleased, yeah, and I think that's all they can sort of expect. I don't feel that we are going to see anyone. I mean, the top two steps are for these two boys, and then anyone else can just have a go at third now for the remainder of the season. If we've put a full stop on development.
You put lots of big statements like that out there. There will be another winner from somewhere else throughout the year, but I'm with you. They're the most consistently good.
Yeah.
Where's it coming from?
It could come from anywhere. I mean, we've seen across the season where
not unless
on their
there's
right
a
day,
big crash. Or
we haven't. That hasn't caused the race wins over so far. Mercedes on their day when the track conditions are right, they've been strong. Ferrari on their day when the track conditions have been okay, they've shown signs. I'm not sure if it's coming from Ferrari, but they seem like the next best. They seem like the next best in terms of consistency now.
They've been better than Mercedes recently, definitely.
Yeah, Max on his day could easily steal a win.
That's the only one I see really winning.
I couldn't see anyone outside of Max grabbing it.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
not on merit.
It's already happened.
Yeah, unless we have from this point on.
Yeah,
from this point on, unless we have the two McLaren boys come together and collide.
It was only Canada.
Yeah,
where the last non-McLaren winner was.
But that's what I'm saying. From this point on now, I felt they were so dominant across the weekend that unless Max has a weekend, I can't see a Ferrari win, I can't see a Mercedes win, I can't see anyone else.
Yeah,
I'm very happy to be proven wrong, but just my gut tells me.
I always feel like Belgium Spa always emphasises the cars because it's so long and it's so much of that type of track. One car looks a whole lot further out. I think we'll still see plenty of battles, but yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, no, so it was good to see them. Good to see the upgrade work. I was pleased to see Leclerc happy about it too. I thought that was good. And to be able to hold off Max is no mean feat, even though it sort of didn't look like Max could bring anything. He wasn't really in DRS zone for the whole race, was he? So it was a bit of a go through the motions for Max and for Charles.
You had him one stage early on where he had got up ahead of Leclerc, but Leclerc outbraked him or whatever. And yeah, but that was great. That was good for Ferrari. They need that.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. The other Ferrari?
Well,
Lewis said for the first time ever in his life, he had a rear lockup in his career, which I find amazing.
In the qualifying?
Sprint qualifying.
And that was, he said.
Well, it's fairly unusual to have a rear lockup like that. That was a very unusual one.
Yeah.
And then he just parked it there, hoping, I guess,
that was strange,
I
wasn't it?
thought he could have gotten out of that too, actually. I find it.
Yeah, he seemed to park for
a long time and left the yellow. He was already out.
It was like he was trying to get across the pit lane, but would have to go backwards to get there. Yeah.
At first, I thought he was trying to save position because of the yellow flag. No one had beat the time, but he was already, I think, in 16th. So.
Yep. Whether he knew that at the time, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was an interesting one for him, wasn't it? I mean, he certainly didn't take to the car the way that Leclerc did, but through the race, he showed some really strong signs. I didn't think that he would necessarily be that much quicker than everyone else
on the wets. He was great on the wets
and through that race, considering he wasn't overly comfortable. But
once it dried up, he just stagnated or went backwards a little bit. But apparently there was car issues where he had to lift off and
well, he was actually saving fuel. He wasn't going to get to the end. So but anyway, so. Yeah, it was an interesting one. There was sort of some signs, but just when you think Hamilton was getting somewhere with that car, they bring an update and he goes backwards again. So it's just not clicking for him at the moment, but we'll wait and see what happens next year. I think think they want to get into some winning ways before they get to next year, and then we'll see.
On Lewis, do you see his very cryptic 8th of the 8th Instagram post where it's all very smoky and grey and there's something going on?
His retirement.
Is that what I don't know. It's very...
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
It just has the date. It just says the 8th of the 8th, and I'm like, oh, that's it. There's nothing else. You know how I love my social media sleuth. I haven't had an opportunity to get my head around.
Or is he getting married?
That's what my Monday nights are for. I'll come up with a theory for you, and I'll let you know. But yeah,
interesting. I don't know. I hadn't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I'll let you know anyway.
Not too far away. What's that, next Friday?
Yes, I think it is. Put it in calendar.
I'll be watching. Moving further back. Oh,
you had Max and then George.
Oh, yeah. And so Max was there, but then Yuki, as we go back through the teams.
The request for the new floor to be put on.
Tell me more.
So Max had 100% of the new upgrades and 100% of the spare parts of the upgrades when they hit the ground in Spa. Yuki had nothing, and then when we went through the sprint and the practice sessions,
as Max wasn't using them up?
Max was using just all of the brand new bits, and poor Yuki's on the other side of the garage getting nothing. I don't even think you got to see what the new bits look like. And then after Max's really great win in the sprint, we hit the ground on Saturday morning, and Laurent Mekies requested that the spare floor of Max being the brand new upgrade, that Max was not allowed to have the spares and it is to be immediately bolted onto Yuki's car, and it was bolted on before qualifying, and that's what propelled him up into seventh place. Yeah. So he had the floor. That's all he had.
I wasn't across this.
Really? Because were you not surprised by the sudden rocket into Q3?
Well, that's where...
where has this come from?
My question was going to be, where did his speed come from?
That's where it came from. So he got the floor. He wasn't allowed to have anything else. But that was Laurent Mekies saying, no, you can't have spare bits sitting in your garage doing nothing. You look after them, and Yuki's getting a few bits and pieces.
And all 4 Red Bull cars in the top,
in top Q3 for the very first time for the year. So that's where the rocket speed came from.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I felt like Yuki was a little bit unlucky with the poor call of pitting very late.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. His strategy cooked him big time.
Yeah, so...
He lost 5 positions or something like that from it.
So kind of on our Yuki pass and fail mark, I'm going to give him a pass
Yeah.
this week.
Well,
pass.
But my question was, where did the speed come from? But across the weekend, I was going to give him a pass because, he lost 5 spots with his strategy call.
So we'll see what the floor does next weekend.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
If it's going to be, but he'll have those parts this weekend now. Coming in, he gets all of them because, and both cars will be vastly different. What do you think of the call on that? Do you think Christian Horner would have made that call, or would he have just gone up?
You realise we haven't recorded since the Horner situation.
I'm surprised we didn't work him into the
we were close to getting together, weren't we?
We were, yeah.
Look, I wouldn't even go close to trying to understand what the hell's been going on in that team for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I would have thought Christian Horner would have wanted to make that call, but I want to know how hamstrung he's been for far too long.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, so
especially for Mekies just to go, no, put him on.
It's almost the perfect situation for him, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fresh, he's coming in, he wants to lay his mark down. All of Verstappen and Jos Verstappen and all of his team have all tried to keep their hands away from all of it in such a... Anyway, we can talk about it later, but in such an interesting way where they're, oh, no, we've got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then, so I think he sort of almost had a bit of a free hit there and proved his worth. I didn't mind it. I mean, I did giggle that they won the first race after Horner left. I had a good giggle about that. So, and I didn't mind Christian Horner's post on Instagram where he was horse riding for the weekend, and he said a different type of horsepower. So, outside of that, then we had George Russell. He salvaged something for Mercedes because they looked nowhere.
Yeah, just sort of, it was a little bit of that did nothing, but instead of finished third, finished 5th.
Did they change his wing in the red flag? Because he was running a low...
No, there was talk of that, and I think Haas were talking about that too, because they bolted the downforce
Haas said they weren't going to do it.
And then we went dry, but they straight out said, no, there is far too much to do in this window of time, so no, we're not doing that. But there was talk that he was...
You're allowed to change a rear wing.
You are
red flag, you are, yes.
So red flag's on it because we had done 2 formation laps, and the clock had officially started.
You're allowed to make changes.
You are fully out of park ferme, so you are permitted to.
And in the end, they had an hour.
Yeah. Which I guess they probably weren't to know they had the ad. The last thing you want is to be caught under your marquee with no wing on, and then you get the 10-minute warning, and you're thinking, crap, what are we doing here?
Yep, absolutely. Kimi Antonelli's going through a little bit of a harder time at the moment.
Well,
very hard,
highly emotional. And I asked this question.
Yeah, I'd missed it.
I wondered why.
Yeah,
why is
I meant to go and look for it and then respond to it, and then I didn't get to it. Yeah.
Very emotional, and I've never seen him so emotional before because he missed, obviously out in Q1, which he's had a drop out of Q1, I'm sure, throughout the year. But he just tears. And I wondered, I thought, is this a little bit of anxiety and sudden contract fear? That we haven't quite got word that official word that we're sticking with George and Kimi. As much as Toto said that, saying, yep, I'll let you know once we get the summer break.
You should have a nice
You should
summer
have
break.
an answer to.
Yep.
But is it that sudden fear that, oh my God, I don't have a contract, there's a lot of talk, a 4-time world champion is potentially available, and I've just bombed out in Q1. And being so young, probably not being able to equip himself.
I think
with
the
dealing
age
with that.
thing's a big thing.
I think
he's just young.
I felt for him, and I was shocked at the absolute emotion of just missing.
Do you remember in Australia, the first thing I said to you coming out of his press conference is, he's just a little kid.
Yeah.
He just sits there and he giggles. Some of the guys come in, and he's only 18, so they don't generally come in at 18. But some of them come in and they seem really worldly, and they seem like they've been through a lot. I don't know Kimi Antonelli's story well enough to know what he's been through and how protected he's been, but he just comes across a whole lot younger than everybody else. And, great kid.
Yeah.
Great kid. And he's obviously got some skills. But, I worry that they're not looking after him the way that they need to. And this was the worry right from the get-go that we talked about last year is, are they bringing in the right person?
At the right time.
At the right time. Or was the George model the correct model where they went and put him in a Williams without the pressure on him and let him develop himself in a completely different way? And
Is it almost getting to a point where you give him a race off or two and have Valtteri in the car for a bit so he can maybe go back, get himself in, regulate himself?
Oh, I worry that
will go the opposite.
Yeah,
if
because you could look at that, and especially if you... and we're only guessing here, but if you have that anxiety, it's suddenly about your race seat, which he should be pretty safe.
You get him to the summer break and you build him up over the summer break.
And then you say you're having a week off, and you'd be like, hang on, what have I done wrong?
Yep.
Lewis was spotted in Mercedes motorhome after that, consoling him and talking to him, and he was on the grid with him too. So I think he's got a good mentor in Lewis there as well. But it was just, it surprised me, that emotion. That's such a level of it too.
His dad was pretty harsh on him. If you watch the seat, his dad was pretty...
Love the sandwich. That was so good.
And he was pretty strong with him, wasn't he?
It was so good. It's sort of the success of Max and Seb can be a bit of a bit of a knife edge, isn't it? That people will look for that, where you can throw them in and you can become a 4-time world champion, and that there'll be someone out there that one year you can do it, and we'll get another one. But I feel like sometimes everyone's looking for that, aren't they?
But in saying that, he's been really shit.
Recently he has. After he had his sprints,
I was going to say, go through his results, and there aren't a lot of the really good ones, and good is good for even Mercedes. Not like I'm looking for more than that. So it's been a challenging season for him, and I think that sprint might have hidden a few things. Anyway, he's got some work to do, but. Yeah, like I say, I really like him, and I think there's a great racing driver in there. You just got to work your way through it.
Williams next.
Williams. Yep. Alexander Albon.
Tristan.
Strong result.
They did something.
Pretty decent in the sprint race too, I think.
Wow, that's
it's funny.
good.
I think Albon got more points this weekend than what Fernando has all season.
Fernando's got more world titles than all.
So. Just when you think Carlos Sainz has got it, and is this a broken record? Is this a broken record that I've been saying?
Yeah, you could just...
Through the sprint race, he looked good, he was on fire, and then once again, it didn't come through to him. And I find this with sprint races that quite often you will get a few unusual results because teams haven't quite got across it. But yeah, he's been jumped. I mean, there was a
Lewis
mistake.
in China with his sprint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there was a mistake for his qualifying, and he wasn't able to pull it back. But Alex
92
Albon,
seconds off the pace.
Alex Albon had a really strong race weekend, and is pretty decent. He'd sort of looked like he'd dropped off a little bit. We talked about it in F1.5, hadn't we? That he had dropped away completely. Yeah. Well, this is his comeback race has been pretty strong, and
he had Lewis on his gearbox the whole race.
Yep, and we knew that Lewis was looking pretty decent, but he found his match there. Carlos Sainz, where did he actually end up in the main race?
He was 18th. He was 92.
Yeah,
92 seconds off the lead.
He did beat Franco.
Yeah, well, that's impressive.
That
is impressive.
Probably
I've got a bike in my shed, and I'm pretty I'm all right in fitness wise, and I reckon I could beat Franco.
It'll be an interesting one. I mean, his stocks were so high coming into this season.
They are non-existent now.
It was a shock to see that he was going to go to Williams, and he chose Williams, and it turns out it's not Williams that's let him down. It's currently him letting Williams down at the moment. So I'm sure there is going to be an out at some point in time, but yeah, it's not been his season.
I was shocked when Ferrari signed him and left Lando there. You know, you go and pick someone out of McLaren at that time. I would have picked Lando.
You've never been a science man.
No, I used to call him Signs of Spud.
Yeah,
and then he had a reasonable last season, but
he was fantastic with the
I thought last season was his best.
Absolutely, it was. He's gone back to.
He's had a couple of really good ones. I mean, when he was racing against Max, he was really strong. He had a couple of good seasons.
Max
with
was
Ferrari.
still nappies,
so was he. Yeah, so was he. They were equal experienced. It's an interesting one. So 26 will be a really important year for him, because you can't let your stocks continue to drop like that, and he's young enough to turn it around. So
I'll go big and say 26 might be his last year. Has he only got a 2-year contract with Williams?
We need to write these big calls down because you guys get away with these big calls for no consequences.
You need another whiteboard with
the consequence whiteboard.
I was going to say you big calls whiteboard, but sure. If you want
I'm just going to call it consequences for all the big ones.
Is anyone coming on the whiteboard tonight? Just quietly,
we're not there yet.
Sorry, I didn't know.
We're not there yet.
Jump on the gun.
So
Liam Lawson had a strong result. He's turned around. He's turned it around in the last few weeks. Coming home in 8th, pretty decent for young Lawson.
Not too bad.
Yep. Yeah, he's had a couple of good races.
Yeah, yep. Hadjar's gone the opposite way, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, he's
struggled
for a rookie that started and we weren't expecting him. Started so strongly, he has dropped away big time.
I heard him talk afterwards and said he had an engine problem. That was why he was. Yeah.
Was the engine problem apparent in qualifying?
Yeah,
because he wasn't anywhere all weekend. So. Yeah, Bortoletto, strong result in the Haas.
Hadjar did out-qualify Lawson, but anyway, he wasn't anywhere, but he did out-qualify Lawson. Yes,
whereabouts? Okay, I'll take it back then. Bortoletto, strong result for Bortoletto.
The Sauber train just keeps chugging on, doesn't it? Hey, what a terrific result. Both in Q2, both in Q3, both in Q2, sorry.
And they made the call because Bortoletto was getting frustrated because he was getting held up by Nico. And
which I love that too. And he
drove away to the tune of 15, 16 seconds.
And places.
9th and 12th, which is great. So, wow. Just, a month ago, nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Just going through the motions. But what another fantastic weekend for them.
Big turnaround. Huge turnaround for that team. And yeah, I agree. I'm loving it too. And probably the other big performer from the weekend is Pierre Gasly in a car that just does not deserve to be 10th. Oh. He's driving beautifully.
He is doing what those greats have done in the past, of just taking absolute rubbish and throwing it over his shoulder and going, "I'll just get out of the way. I'll do it." Which is so good to see. For if we're talking about Sainz and his stocks dropping, Gasly's are just constantly lifting all the time.
It wasn't, was it? It was. There were questions about the whole team.
Yeah,
only weeks ago, and he has turned it around. Probably first quarter of the season, we're like, oh boy, what's going on here? And then he's turned around.
You would
big
not be afraid
time,
to ask for his services ever, would you? Because
I
just think he's so incredibly underrated.
This team is such a basket case.
Yeah, and I'm a massive fan of Gasly.
Where's his next spot? Where's his next seat?
I don't know. I wouldn't say anywhere, but you could ask
But-
the question.
but-
He's.
Legitimately, where would you put
Back
him?
to Red Bull.
I
Possibly.
don't think so. But
He might not want to go back.
He
with
probably
Max
doesn't
and
wanna
drive
go.
that car.
Yeah.
That is certainly true. But this Red Bull I feel like this Red Bull is going to be very different to the Red Bull of the past.
don't know.
It could very well be a very different team in a couple of years' time. But yeah,
If you've got a spare seat, you'd be asking the question. Just say, "Hey, are you free?" Because he's not a horrid choice. I think he's a very, very good driver.
Yep.
Very, very good.
Yep.
I love watching some of the Alpine social media and looking at the comments, and there's so many Argentinians,
Oh, that's
and
funny.
they are
There's-
crazy, and then they just go on about give Franco Gasly's car.
Have you
and, it's quite
noticed
funny.
that in the Alpine social media thread, in
Together,
the comment
together,
section,
together.
there's a man that is frequently on there. Because I too...
Adam Hughes.
No, he's in this room as
He's
well.
with me.
Boys. I know. It always pops at the top, and I'm like, oh, that's a familiar
love
face
it.
there.
I
And
love
oh, boy. I looked at it today because I saw Gasly's post. I'm like, oh, what have people written? And then there...
No, it wasn't Gasly's.
Oh, yeah, I know. It was the... Yeah.
It was
I wouldn't be
Franco.
writing anything
only-
bad
the
about Franco in there.
the
The only one I get into is the ones where they post about being together as a team. We're going to work through it together, and I just like to remind them
Yeah.
of what a joke of a team that they are currently. That's
It's
all I'm doing. I'm not having to go at Franco. I feel for Franco.
No, you don't. No one, apart from Argentinians, no one feels for Franco.
Well, you're right, but I refuse to have a crack at Franco. I simply am having a crack at the team
you
for
need-
their together post. I will not have them on social media go and try and pretend we're a team together and we're going to fight through this together. But you, my friend, are sacked, and you are sacked, and you're going to leave because you don't like any of us, and you leave because team's terrible. They are not together on
I
anything.
tell you what, you need to be careful because many, many moons ago, I went to buy a new car and I was inquiring about an MG, and they had a social media thread. It was like, oh, get in touch if you're interested, blah, blah, we'll send you a thing out. I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I don't mind that. I'd be interested to see. And then Kylie jumped on and she's like, yuck, look at that interior. And then they commented back on her, and I'm pretty sure she got an email with the brochure and everything sent to her, which is like, here, look at these different interior options. Thanks
Oh.
for your comment on social media.
So you never know who's watching.
Do we give Jack another
be
go?
very careful.
Oh,
Of course we do. Of course we do.
But is it going to happen?
No, it's not. It's never going to happen.
I don't know. I mean, their options are low. If it was a team of the 90s or even the early 2000s, absolutely they'd go back to him. They used to swap drivers in and out all the time. Generally, they'll pay drivers. But it didn't have to be that unusual. But, I mean, he can't be coming last most weeks. I mean, he's had one okay result. You can't be coming last most weeks. And then, he was second last this week. But
Yeah,
the
car had an engine problem that he beat, yeah.
it's just. So, no, I mean, if I was them, I would. I feel like Jack's now playing his cards correctly. He's kept his mouth quiet since he's been dropped. His dad's kept his mouth quiet since he's been dropped, or since the week after he'd been dropped. I think he might have said a few things that week, but
remember, some of that was actually
no. I'm not talking about the.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the fake comments. No, there was a few things that he said sort of straight away, but he's just, from what I can tell, he's got his head down. He's getting on with things. So, yeah, look, I don't know. It's a tricky one. It doesn't really seem like Valtteri Bottas is getting in the car anytime soon. So, if I was them, I'd certainly be trialling it because you want to be absolutely sure about these things. He certainly isn't going too well, is he, Mr. Franco? Anyway, let's go to All Signs 3, 2, and 1.
What about Haas?
Do you want to talk
Haas,
about somebody,
what about
dude?
Aston Martin?
Do you want to talk about them,
Aston
dude?
Martin had an absolute nightmare, and Haas, well...
They don't deserve to be spoken
They
about.
don't.
Aston Martin.
Ollie Behrman was 11th, and they were actually
Behrman was
quite
looking
good.
right, yeah.
They were actually, and Ocon was like in the top 10 in the sprint, but
Have they got in touch with you and asked for a shout-out?
no.
It felt that way, didn't
It
it?
felt that way. It felt Aston
did.
said,
Sorry.
hey, Shane,
We do
would
have
you like to mention this?
we do have
Because-
19 drivers and Stroll on the field.
Well,
so, I mean,
if they do something interesting, I'm more
Okay.
than happy. Is there anything else?
was
Anyone else you want to talk about?
Ocon in that? Was it Ocon or Behrman in that pass that they all went ooh at in the drivers' room, and then they all went when he got back past? That was quite funny.
There was one that was really close, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went around really late break. It looked like he got it done. They were all impressed, and the next minute, back they came out of the corner. It was like, oh.
Yep. Anyone else? Anyone else I've missed, Shane?
Anyone else
You missed Fernando, but...
Fernando? Yeah, what was he doing?
Nothing.
That was terrible. And he was in my...
They looked good in the sprint qualifying and then dropped away, didn't they?
Let me go back and have a look.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I've got the sprint qualifying. No.
Oh, weren't they?
14th and 15th.
Oh, no, take it back.
Terrible.
Take it back. No, all right, they were nowhere at any time. 3, 2, and 1, thanks to all signs. Tristan.
3 to Oscar.
Oh, give him the best car.
Oh, it was brilliant.
He drove well.
Brilliant.
He drove very well.
Brilliant.
I'm not sure you would have given it to...
No. 2 to...
Got your finger there.
2 to Lando. It was very good. 2 to Lando was very good. That hard
Going
compound,
backwards.
it nearly paid off. It had me on the edge of my seat.
God,
It nearly was on.
I'm with you. It was
nearly
great
was.
driving from both drivers.
It was phenomenal.
Lando did make a few little mistakes again, but yeah.
But that's all right. And one, I'm going to give one to Bortoletto because, again, I'm, all aboard the Sauber train. Loving what they're doing.
He's all aboard the Sauber train, but can't give Williams any credit whatsoever.
Nope.
Well, I'll change that up. So I'm going 3 to Alex.
Alex
Going
Albon.
3 to Alex.
Yep.
3.
3. Yep.
Yeah.
Just to make up for your lack of luck.
That was a better drive than Oscar's, was it? You woke up this morning and went, Williams. Was that your first reaction?
In typical fashion, we don't generally always give all of them to the
But that's
top
what you were pumped about this morning when you woke up.
I was pretty happy with it. Yeah.
And you didn't Oscar didn't cross your mind in any way, shape, or form.
Seems he finished one place ahead of the driver of the day.
Who was the driver today?
Lewis.
With 38% of the votes.
He was.
He was.
Actually, I considered giving Lewis a point.
He gained positions because he just rolled
he
the
was
dice
crap
to
at this-
lap early and he started from the pit lane and he had nothing to lose.
But he also gained positions because he was crap at
I
and
know.
qualified poorly. Yeah.
So, no, you
Anyway,
can't.
I'm going 3 to
yes,
Alex.
your points.
My points.
3 to Alex.
That's the worst.
2 to Oscar. I still gave Oscar the
That's
points.
hideous.
That's
hideous.
And I'm going 1 to Charles.
I tell you what, I will.
Charles. Really?
If anyone comes to me over the next 5 days and said, "Hey, did you watch the race on the weekend?" and I say yes,
Did you see Alex?
anyone comes to me and utters the words, "Wow, did you see Alex?" I'll buy you beers on this podcast for the remainder of the time that you are here.
Just messaging Sami now.
God,
I'm going.
Goodness me!
I'm going 3 points to Pierre Gasly.
Oh, this is outrageous.
3 points to Pierre. I thought his race was good. He's been performing well and truly ahead of where he should be.
Oscars. It was.
And how would you know? You didn't see any of it. Now, only Lando was out there on the weekend. I'm giving 2 points to Oscar. I thought his race was stellar.
Not quite as good as Gasly's 10th place, but I guess it's all right.
And 1 point to Alex Albon. His race was terrific. So.
You don't rate it as highly as what Shane does.
We rated it nice and highly.
I was probably a bit generous, but Oscar's in the best car.
Yeah, exactly. Oscar's in the best car.
And
he also qualified. He probably just messed up his qualifying, really, didn't he? Done of the day. Line them up.
Here we go.
You two for an
Line
earlier. You two
them up.
after both of those.
Yeah, Tristan, it's everyone else. It's not me.
It is. Yeah, exactly. It has, and I'm not often on the broadcast bandwagon with you with most of them, but I found it has to go the broadcast at the end of the race.
See, I don't usually hit him for the bias.
I
usually hit him for other things.
I thought it was insufferable, and I found it so difficult.
Here's that chocolate again. Belgian chocolate.
I was going to say, were you breaking it with a sledgehammer? I just found that the final closing laps were absolutely insufferable.
Closing laps?
Oh, just go.
I wasn't sure there was another driver out there at times.
It was so poor that all we talked about was all of the reasons why Lando didn't win. And it was really poor. Really, really, really poor. The medium tyre on such a long stint to make them last, to be doing PBs in a handful of last laps. to making that move in the opening lap, just everything that he did across the weekend, and all we could talk about was, if he hadn't have done this, he would have won. If he hadn't have done this, he would have won. But guess what? He didn't, because Oscar did. And it was so difficult to swallow. For the first time ever.
It was disgraceful. It was
so
horrid.
difficult.
I was furious. It almost took away from the win. The whole morning, you would have thought, you only thought there was one driver out there.
If you played audio of Silverstone, and I get Silverstone's great and the Brits in a home race hero, I fully respect that. But if you played audio of Lando's win versus Oscar's win side by side, and you just listened to it, you could hear the disappointment across all of those different weekends. There was no excitement when he crossed the finish line. It was almost like,
Who was worst? Who was the worst offender? Crofty?
Crofty.
I thought all of them.
I thought Crofty.
See, I didn't think Brundle was too bad. I didn't think Brundle was too bad.
He had a couple of moments.
There was a couple there.
I think Crofty's rubbing off on him.
Yep. It was just, it was really difficult. It was really... So, anyway, it's a massive dud this week.
For a world broadcaster, and that's what they are. Yep. I know they're based in England, and I know that's their primary role.
Yep.
But they are.
They've got a job to do, and they failed. I mean, we're in love with Oscar. Maybe
and we're incredibly biased.
We are, but if I was getting paid to do it, and Crofty, if you want, I know he's probably listening, I'll swap for a weekend if you like.
And we'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, but that was just terrible. Right off. And then, that's my dud.
Yeah, you're
and
back,
your dud.
You're backing in. No, I'm not allowed my own duds, aren't I?
Okay. The other one is that front left McLaren.
You took him.
Yeah, front
I was
left.
going to have him.
Front left.
I would like you to
He's
go.
going to have a fans club soon.
I would like you to go and find if it's the same mechanic week in, week
that
out. I
would
think
be
a little bit of
interesting.
practice. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to know. You can't, because they're wearing helmets, you can't tell who they are, can you? But
That's what I was thinking, like you could look on the broadcast.
Yeah, sometimes they got initials on the helmet. Yeah, he was my dud. All right, I've got another dud if you're going to steal that one. Brittany Rosberg.
Oh,
there is elements. I mean, we're still in this thing. So I love that we've got somebody that's not British on the telecast, because that is important. Can we get somebody other than Brittany friggin' Rosberg? Why do they have to get the biggest buffoons as their extras on there? Is that? I wonder whether the strategy is, look, we're going to get all these buffoons, Danica Patrick, Brittany Rosberg, Jacques Villeneuve. We're going to get all these ones, and then what it's going to do is everyone's going to realise how good the English commentators are, so they're not going to ever ask for anyone else. The man is an absolute moron when it comes to commentary. Now, I'm going to caveat that with, I also love elements of what he does.
I tell you
His
what.
delivery is just horrendous. I can't handle the fact that he jumps to a conclusion and tries to jump down the throat of anybody as soon as they say something, like when he was talking to Zach Brown after the race, and he was asking about the power unit issues, and he goes, that's why Lando lost the race. And Zach's like, no, we're going to go through it, because I'm pretty sure Oscar was having similar issues. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he goes, so this is why. And he just wants to jump to a conclusion as if it's got to be the be-all and end-all. The man, I have no idea how he's won a world championship, because he just wants to jump down the throat of any quick idea that he's ever seen. It is horrendous. However, there's an element of me that loves that he has no idea, because he ends up asking ridiculous questions to people and taking over the grid walk with Martin.
I was going to say,
and speaking to Yoss that way, put me for him almost as my hero of the hour.
I was about to tell you, my hero of the hour for the week is Nico Rosberg, because I thought his questioning, it was like...
No, his questioning is horrendous.
No, see, I thought this week it was phenomenally good. It was like your last day at work.
Yes.
Stuff you up.
There is an element of that.
I'm taking all the Coke cans out of the machine. Get stuffed.
Yeah.
I'm going to help myself to the stationery, because I'm not coming back next week. What are you going to do about it? And he walked around, and it was like blunt force trauma to anyone that got a microphone in their face. I adored his approach to Jos, and I think that really threw Jos.
Oh, big
because
time.
It was sort
Big
of,
time.
hey, Horner's gone. You were all about it. What do you think of it?
Jos has punched
Jos
people
was
on
like,
the grid
whoa.
for less than that. Yeah.
But even his response going, oh, but you're all quiet now?
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hang on.
It's like,
Are
you
not
wanna-
coming?
do you
want to be
wanna
fired? Do you want to be knocked out on the grid?
Well, I guess-
thought chatting to Zach, it was awesome as well.
Oh, so no, the Zach one really annoyed me because it was
I
like
liked it.
he wanted to just find one excuse for something to happen.
I
It
saw
was almost
that.
like he was in the Lando cheer squad and he wanted to find that excuse.
But I sort of
Yeah.
saw that the other way, that Zach was protecting the reason why. I've got a heap of reasons why, but or more that there is lots
But
of
there
reasons.
is lots of reasons.
But,
that's
I felt
motor
like
racing.
Nico was going, nah, what is it? Like,
Exactly,
something
that's what I mean,
happened.
and it's ridiculous.
Oh, I thought it
there
was
there
great.
isn't a one reason for that. It
I
was
also,
so clear.
I love that when we had the drivers getting lined up, that he's like, oh, there's Hulkenberg. I'll go and talk to him. And he went straight over there. And then Martin Brundle on the way back is like, also, I'm just letting you know that you're not allowed to talk to the drivers right now. We're not allowed to talk to it. And he's like, okay. And he's just looking for anyone that's coming in his vicinity.
So I haven't seen the full grid walk. But
I
I've
reckon he
seen the
would've-
replays of this.
I
And I
reckon
need
he
to go
would
back
have
and have a look
stopped
at the whole lot.
Lewis. If Lewis had to walk past him, it felt like he was in that mood that I'll just doorstop you, Lewis.
Oh, man.
Come here. Imagine that, because we know we're banned from talking to Lewis on the grid. But Martin had to step in and say, Nick, I'm telling you, we are not permitted to talk to drivers at this point. But he ignored him and turned the other way and went hunting for more drivers.
It's just like
I
he
thought it was
he
so
goes up
good.
to Jos. All these people within Red Bull, they've never raced Formula. Oh, a lot of them haven't raced Formula One. I'm a world champion. You're just Jos,
Jos,
you
you're
are
a
nothing.
nobody. Yeah,
You're a
yeah.
nothing.
You're a dad.
And-
It was so refreshing, though, for him to ask the questions that others won't ask.
There's a certain point to it. Absolutely,
I thought it was
I
great.
can't take his need for a one reason for anything to happen,
Even
and he
his-
just wants to jump on straight away. It's just like everyone knows. Any smart Formula One fan knows. There's a range of reasons for so many different things.
And I think his approach catches people on the hop. Even his doorstop of Valtteri.
He's
And the way that he asked it, it was, hey, Valtteri, congratulations on your contract signing with Cadillac. And Valtteri, you can see, he has to stop and think about it and go, hang on, my immediate response will be, thanks so much. But he has to stop and go, sorry, what? I didn't hear? What? And Valtteri played it really, really well. And then, yeah, I think that sort of way of questioning, that real in your face, he could probably draw an answer to a question.
he's going down the shock job.
Yeah, but if it's framed in a way that you see the others frame it, it gives whoever's answering it an opportunity to think and then respond in a way that they're getting coached to respond, rather than that real shock value.
Yep.
But for this weekend, 9 out of 10 times, I'm 100% with you, but for this weekend, I thought he had an absolute blinder.
Well, like I said, he's my hero of the hour and my dad of the day.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
But I'm going to go that Crofty was that pathetic that I'd probably rather listen to Nico or Jacques Villeneuve over Crofty. Because at least they're going to speak about another driver. I'd love to put it, if you had enough time, I'd love to go through and count how many times we heard Lando Norris and then tally him up compared to all the other drivers on the grid.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's my rant.
it was too much.
So furious. It was
far too much. F1.5.
F1.5, the greatest championship in the world, outside of this current one that's actually happening.
I'm looking forward to listening to the results.
I'm sure you are. Yeah. I'm just going to dive into it. We're at the midway point of the season. I don't think we need to explain it. If you would like an explanation, jump back on, listen to a past episode. Random order and then top four today.
We're going top four.
Yeah, top four. Just like spice it up. We've had a couple of weeks off. People will be feeling sprightly. Lawson is on 19 points. Sorry, Colapinto, 19
I was going to say,
points.
he only on 19.
Sorry,
So
yes,
you would've picked up-
sorry.
You would've got
My
close to
apologies.
picking
Not
that
a
up on the
great,
weekend.
not a
Sorry.
great start.
Not
Not
a good start. I've had half a beer. Colapinto's 19.
The other one I passed
The other
is still
one, thank you.
unopened.
No, I haven't opened it yet. 19 points for Colapinto, 110 points for Lawson. Then we've got 51 for Bortoletto. Takes home a nice little handy bag. You've got Pierre Gasly on 125, which is really good. Fernando, 117, just 2 points this week. Doesn't do very well. Surprisingly, Stroll, 79. Not doing well. I would say surprisingly.
Isn't it funny that
we shouldn't be
he's
surprised.
ahead, Stroll's ahead of him in the actual points.
I'm surprised he didn't feature in your 2 points, mate, after you gave Alex 3 for his barnstorming.
Oh, well,
Sixth. Sorry, I was so drawn back by its brilliance that I forgot where he finished. Behrman on 106. That's going under the radar, isn't it? With 106 points. Sainz on 113 takes home just the sneaky single point. In fourth place,
Sainz on 130. Did you say
113?
13.
Yeah. Ocon in fourth place on 131. In third place, it's Nico Hulkenberg now on 136. Last year's winner. Making a real sort of
How many
late charge, 136. It's Isaac Hadjar in second place, believe it or not, after he has just had a horror month of the following points, 4-6-2-0. The man that was just ready to pounce. But it's the man who didn't want it and has decided this week that he does want it.
How many has Hadjar got?
He's on 143.
143.
Yep, but again, could have been a lot more. But yes, it's the almost winner, then didn't want it, and then it's decided. And now I can see why you got your 3 votes, Shane, because Alex Albon,
1.5.
takes 25 points, and he leads with 210 points at the moment.
So hang on, this man that you refuse to give any credit to.
You gave him 3 points.
Hang on, no, just in general. We're just talking in general. The man you refuse to give any credit to is well and truly above anyone else in this championship.
Yep.
And still no credit to the man.
No credit.
So
It's your championship.
I know.
You're blowing your own trumpet about 1.5 being the best thing.
Yeah,
I've given it to the
it's
person
the
that won.
greatest form guy.
I have
Greatest
to be,
form guy.
And there's
And I've
one
given
man
3
running.
points.
I can't back someone because as chief overseer of the great show that is F1.5, I can't be biased.
Well, I gave
literally
3
do whatever you
points.
say.
People will question its authenticity. And
I gave him 3 points for winning 1.5.
as a person, I can't live with that. So yeah. Anyway, that's F1.5 for this round. As we near the summer
go.
break, I do not need a summer break. I'll just tell you that much.
Who's your prediction? Yeah, no, not after that. It felt like we've just done it.
Yeah,
I felt like
I've
we've
had a break.
Yeah.
I don't need another break. You know, when you're at work and someone says, "Would you like to take lunch at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock?" And I'm like, "No, I just got here." It's just it feels like that.
I'd be happy to.
I don't need a break that early.
What's your prediction for F1.5 second half of the season?
I'm thinking that Hadjar might collect it up and get it together
and beat.
and beat Alex.
Beat Alex?
Yeah.
Jippers. Okay. Shane, what's your prediction for F1.5?
Oh, Alex.
I think Alex is a fairly clear winner. Any other predictions that you're going to see someone storm through?
You could see Hulk make a run.
I was going to say,
place.
I feel like Hulk, Bortoletto surprises me how few points he's got.
Yeah.
Sainz surprises me how many points he has got.
Yeah.
I feel like, for me, Hulk, they just do seem to have turned a bit of a corner.
Your Behrman Ocon might come through a little bit.
Ocon's actually got quite a few, hasn't he?
Ocon's fourth at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
He could climb up.
Yep. Fantasy.
Thanks
I
to
don't think I've
Chris.
ever seen so many points in my life.
That happens, doesn't it? Thanks to Chris at Dr. Auto Art. I look forward to the Oscar celebration print that we're getting this week, Chris, because we got a big Lando one last week.
At the end of the race, I'm always looking for the moment that it's going to get
the
painted.
photo that he's going to grab. So I'm excited. Chris, send it through to us because we want to see it early because, like everyone, we're an Oscar fan. And I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Oh, no. Chris is going to do a Lando Belgium piece, is he? He's British.
I reckon. I wouldn't be surprised if we get
Lando
a sneaky Alex Albon Belgian piece.
That would be good.
For a sixth
with
place.
3 points. 3 points.
Yeah, with 3 points.
Sixth place,
Don't
3
worry
points.
about the Oscar one. We're going to put that on hold because Alex
that would be
finished
nice.
sixth and we're doing a print to commemorate it.
That would be nice.
Oh, boy.
Geez, you've really gotten into him. I
Good,
gave
I feel
Gasly,
good.
who was 10th.
Because
I
it
was gonna
wasn't.
say.
You gave it 3. Like, it's atrocious.
Who did you give your 3 to?
Gasly.
Yeah, he gave it to Gasly.
You gave it to Alex.
Alex was in
fourth.
6th spot.
I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, let us know the Oscar piece and then send through Shane that commemorative gold-plated Alex Albon 6th place that will be
3
just
points.
flying off the shelves. Get around his Instagram, Facebook, Redbubble, email, newsletter, all those things for some terrific motorsport pieces. Do you know what day it is today, fellas?
Monday.
Yes.
It is National Milk Chocolate Day.
I was going to say that.
Oh, I bought the homeless or the beggar at Woolworths of chocolate tonight.
Did you?
Good on you.
Did he
There you
mention
go.
Alex's 6th place when you
No,
gave it to him? No,
I should have.
I bet he didn't. So if you like milk chocolate, then get on to Chris and his motorsport prints and all that kind of stuff. It's also World Hepatitis Day as well, so If you know, if you know,
Did you get that off this guy as well?
No, I said I bought the man.
Right.
If you know someone,
Well, it's usually
that
bread rolls, but he had some of those. So.
you bought your bread rolls off the homeless
You're
man.
a bloody good guy, I tell you.
You are a good man. But if you know anyone that has hepatitis and needs some motorsport prints in their life, get around Chris and he's talked to us. It was our birthdays the other week too. So, Chris, if you want to wish us a happy birthday and send us a present.
We're supposed to be promoting people buying them.
We talked about.
You buy one for me, I'll buy one for you.
You specifically said the other week, this is the national day that we're going with. And
Yes,
I was like,
yeah,
okay, mate, I
Well,
will.
other people should buy them and send them
Other
to
people
us,
should,
yes.
or Chris might
Yes.
send them to us anyway.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's... I've lost track of where we are. Fantasy for this week. Let's have a look at Belgium for the top runners. And surprisingly, it's us.
And by us, it is
And
actually
by us, it is actually both of us as well. And, no leaderboard found. See, here we are. In equal first place is Simon Lang, you, me, and then Tommy Wilson, all on 165 as we activated our Limitless and just wiped the floor with everyone. And I say wiped the floor. We were 2 whole points ahead of Dino Bandini in 5th place. Simon Blackburn in 6th on 362. Emily Bratton, Aaron Norton, David Parsons on 362, 350 and 336 respectively. And rounding out the top 10 is Jolien Dyer on 277 points for the round.
Hardly any points compared
Hardly
to
any
us.
points, really. That's low. How did you go this weekend, Shane?
Oh, I was way down.
Sam.
186. Sam actually is in 20th. I
Gosh.
just looked at Sam and he's used the 3 times extra DRS. What's that mean?
You get, how you get double and then you
yeah.
get another one on top of that, so...
Oh.
Yeah, Tom.
I've still got all
Score
these up-
times 3.
I've still got all these up my sleeve. No, I'm developing
It's
my
pretty
car for next year.
self-explanatory. I'm disappointed in
The
myself.
Limitless, I feel
that
like,
I
is
actually
okay that I
took
didn't
the-
understand that one. But
Yeah, I'm disappointed I took the time to actually explain that to you, because that's poor on my behalf. You could put it on Alex for when he finishes.
Oh, that
He
would
would
be
have actually
good.
got me
Finishes
some
sixth
points.
again.
That would have been good.
Better
you
than
don't
Fernando
have it.
that I've got.
That's it. Top 10 in the general rankings looks a little bit like this as we make our way to the halfway mark of the year. Jolien Dyer leads all comers at 3,045. David Rojas in second, 3,032. Dean Holt on
Still
third
so
place.
close.
Yeah, it's
Still so
very
close.
tight. 2,917. Fourth place, Andy Tails, 2,887. Fifth place, Chloe Anderson, 2,833. Nicola Taylor, Dino Bandini, Roman Merrick, David Parsons, and rounding out the top 10 is Zanetta on 2,709. I'm in 16th place, 2,622. You are hot on my heels. Well, it has a 7-point buffer, and then we broke even this week, so it stays the same. You're on 2,615. And then as we scroll all
You can scroll down to
the way
46th and
down.
47th.
I will,
Because
actually.
Sam has passed me. With
What?
Oh, gosh.
He's 11 points up on me.
Oh, the great contest at the back.
It is. It's
I-
sort of,
I'm still in 2026
This is-
development
this
mode.
is like
but
an F1.5 for fantasy, isn't it? Just rolling around. Yeah, it's Sam in 46th place on a lowly 1,977. And then you, Shane, in 47th
I've still got my Limitless up my sleeve
Rightio.
and that times 3 thing.
1,966.
What is the penalty?
Oh, here we go. We're going to introduce
Oh,
rules
yeah.
halfway through the
What's
year.
the penalty
I'm
for
already
the-
in agreement to
For the
everything.
losers between you and me and Shane and there you go. I'll
for
include
us.
us.
Oh,
Between
we're
you and me
we're
and
doing pretty
Shane
well.
and Sam. We'll put it out to the listeners.
Okay.
There needs to be a
A
penalty.
listener penalty. Okay.
There needs to be a penalty for the losers of the 2 contests. I'm only 7 behind you. How much is
Yeah.
I'm 11 behind
11
Sam.
behind Sam?
I'll still probably coach us both, but
Oh,
All right.
no,
I take myself out of it for
no, just kidding.
the loser of all of us.
wow.
We're not even halfway.
Right in.
No, you're over 1,000 behind.
Right
No,
in and let us
I'm
know.
only 600 or 700 behind.
Okay, all right.
Um,
All right, it's the
how
loser of
many-
everyone. Done.
No.
I'm out.
Well,
Because I knew I was going to lose concentration and forget to do it.
Right, well, there you go. Well, then I'm in front, so that pulls me out.
So the loser of the four of us, there has to be a penalty for an episode.
Okay, all right, I like that.
What?
Well, we're in
Maybe
with no danger of that.
send this in. What about a habanero chili or something like that?
Ah, yeah, it's something ridiculous
Or
like that.
what else could it be?
Listening to Crofty. You've got to listen to Crofty's whole season.
Let us know. I want to know. I want to
Hi,
know.
Crofty.
Ice challenge or something like that. I reckon we'll be able to do something for the loser of it.
Roger, I'm just looking at you've got an Ayrton Senna poster on the ground.
I can't work out what to do with it.
That's pretty sacrilegious.
tell
And
me
it's that beautiful
What can we do with it? I need to know.
McLaren
I'm actually lacking an idea for it.
put on a wall to start
I
with.
was going to frame it up, and then it's gone a bit. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Any news that we want to talk about? Well, let me start. So we were very close to recording over the break. Christian Horner of 20 years at Red Bull helm has been sacked by Red Bull. The way that the setup has always been is that within the Red Bull hierarchy,
Organisation.
49% of it is Austrian-owned and 51% were Thai-owned. And the Austrian side of things always ran the racing, and they were the ones that had the big interest in the racing. However, that the Thai side has always had that majority share, and so they've always been able to interject if needed. Dietrich Matrix obviously passed away a couple of years ago, and he was always really strong on holding the team as it was and everything that this team should stand for. And they started off as a bit of a party team, and then we soon found that they were pretty serious racers because all of a sudden they were getting results that they shouldn't have been getting, and they turned themselves into world champions, where Sebastian Vettel managed to pick up 4 world championships, and then we saw them pick up another 4 with Max Verstappen, and then there's obviously the Constructors' Championships that came with it. And the big part of that was Christian Horner leading that team. And Christian Horner's main objective was, I'm going to go and get all the right people, and I'm going to put them into the team, and we're going to make sure they're well-resourced because of the huge juggernaut that Red Bull Energy Drink and the company was. We can make sure they're really well-resourced, and we can make sure that we're getting the right people in and setting up a really strong team. And anyway, over the course of the last couple of years, since Dietrich's passing, there's been a power struggle at Red Bull for that pretty much that entire time. I don't know whether it was happening before that happened, but there seemed to be a power struggle for that entire time about who should be running the show and who should be at fault for different things and who should be credited and all that. And anyway, eventually that power struggle came to an end, and we saw Christian Horner fired from the team, and that was a shock to the team. It wasn't like it was an expected move to be happening. It sort of caught the F1 world by surprise because Christian Horner really had been Red Bull Racing.
Yeah.
Rumours have been that the Verstappen camp have been pushing it with Helmut Marko, who is a consultant at the team, not even a team member considered. He's a consultant at the team. Running the show there, and it was fairly obvious that Jos Verstappen didn't like Christian Horner towards the end, which is really interesting. I find that really interesting considering everything that had happened. But it seemed like Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, I think it was fairly clear, didn't get along towards the end, even though they'd sort of built some really wonderful things together. But all good things come to an end, and anyway, so they've moved on. They've moved him on. Laurent Mekies steps into the hot seat with Red Bull. What are your thoughts on it?
I was incredibly shocked by all of it. I really was. That we know that there'd been murmurings and rumblings of
political situations,
political stuff, but
it seemed to calm down, hadn't it?
It did, and they had been incredibly successful. Like they'd just come off a couple of wins, and Max is sitting third, and there wasn't enough happening on track that to me warranted the removal of your team principal. Like I look at a lot of the track stuff when I consider that, and whether your team principal should be there or not. But I don't know. I think just shock.
Considering he won a world championship last year.
Yeah, world champion last year. He's just
Constructors 2 years before that.
Just come off Constructors, just come off 3 titles, and then you're gone. And I think there's team principals that have done a lot less on the track that have stayed there too. And I think in a time of a time of turmoil and sort of unrest and doubt, is an experienced head not what you want? Possibly. I don't know. It's just, yeah. I thought he deserved, for what he's done for the sport and for the team, I thought he deserved a better.
Yeah, he deserved his own
Deserved
send-off.
a
He deserved
better
a proper
send-off. A proper send-off.
Not a mid-season.
Not a mid-season.
You're out.
Between
Danny
races,
Ricciardo,
yeah.
sort of catch you later. Thanks for letting us. He's been there since its inception and achieved incredible amounts of things in the sport, and again that sporting side too. And I think that in the paddock he deserved a better send-off than what he got for his sporting achievements.
I'm going to conspiracy theory. Is there something he's done really dodgy that was why they got rid of him then?
We haven't heard
We don't
something
yet,
yeah.
but I'm
you
just
know
wondering
what?
if he's had his pants down or something.
I wonder
that.
if we're ever going to hear why. Like, I really wonder why. I wonder if there's probably a non-disclosure agreement. There's probably payments, something like that. There's that.
Do you think there's enough money that there's a non-disclosure agreement within that whole team? Like,
I think so.
There would have to be. He's got money. If he wanted to bring it out, he'd bring it out. I mean, we can't.
Maybe that's saving his face.
Yeah, you do wonder if there's something else there, but I mean, we certainly can't speculate on that too much. But yeah, for me, the team, they're in such a dicey spot at the moment.
Yeah.
Red Bull Racing are in such a dicey spot because they have lost important personnel one after another out that door. I mean, headline acts is Adrian Newey, obviously.
Yep.
I mean, that's so important to them. And who's the next in line? Jonathan Wheatley is obviously a really important name to go out the door. And they have been walking out regularly. And the big question for me is, why?
Yeah.
Is it because the situation there is so unbearable because of all the political plays?
Yep.
Or is it because they don't agree with the way Christian Horner's been going about things recently?
Yep.
Is it because it's just time to move on naturally because they've achieved everything there? It's time to go and do big things. I mean, we see James Vowles has always been under the shadow of Toto Wolff.
Yeah.
And he's gone on and he's doing really beautifully. James Wheatley is exactly the same situation. I mean...
Yep.
There's certainly an element of that's a possibility, but that's my big question because they're at risk of becoming nobodies.
It could be the future. It could be the driver future for me. It's something I'm always conscious of when we think about that changeover, that when Max goes, which he will, like whether it be now or for whatever reason, eventually he is going to leave that team, right? Who is...
That for me, that's the big question.
The up and there
they're
are
at
no
risk
up
of being nobody.
Yeah, there's no up and comers coming as a new person in that team. Well, maybe not so much now as it was, a couple of weeks ago. The second seat is not a desirable seat anymore at all whatsoever within the sport. Knowing its history and its constant dumping of drivers, that's probably going to be putting a lot of potential talent at ease now. Because Christian Horner, maybe not. I'm only guessing
I
here.
don't think it was him.
I don't know, but it's not a seat you want to be in. It's not attracting new talent. There isn't a lot of new talent setting the world on fire. So it's an eye on the future that, like you said, it's a bit of a nothing future.
For me, it just feels like, unless all those people have left because of Horner.
Maybe,
and that's the one that I was like, I'd love to find out why they've all left. But if it's not because of Horner, if it's because of the political unrest, it feels like one person has gotten bigger than the team. And Max Verstappen is the person that you feel like needs to be bigger than the team. However, if it means the downfall of the team, because if he leaves, I can guarantee you Max is not leaving this year. I will be blown away if he leaves this year. 2026, you're going to go and find out about every other team.
Yeah.
Look at who's got the form, and then you go and say, look, I like your car, I'm coming to you. And they'll be like, you come in.
You've got 4 titles, come on in.
Absolutely.
How much would you like?
And he is an incredible driver. Of course you're going to employ him, other than McLaren. I mean, you never know. But if they lose him and they don't have Horner,
Yeah.
like Horner, while I understand he isn't the person doing everything, he's the one that built it up. If you want someone to rebuild that team,
Yeah, that's the experience.
that's the person you want in there. Laurent Mekies seems great, and if you had all those other people around Laurent Mekies, absolutely. I feel like they're at a real risk at the moment.
Does Lauren Mekies remind you of like Flavio? He looks just
There is
dodgy.
an element,
He
yeah.
looks
There's
dodgy.
an element,
Anyway,
yeah. He
sorry.
reminds me of an art teacher or something. But yeah, so it's just, I was flabbergasted that they've let this happen. I mean, Helmut Marko I've never trusted, and it just seems like it's just him driving the whole thing along.
Yeah.
Red Bull organisation is so important in F1. There's 4 cars.
Yeah,
Absolutely it
yeah.
is.
I mean, they used to always talk about Ferrari. If there was no Ferrari in Formula
I think
1,
just
there'd be no Formula
motorsport
1.
in general, like so
I
many
think-
categories wear the Red Bull brand.
Yeah, I think the benefit is at the moment you could sell both those teams comfortably to people wanting to get into the sport.
Yeah.
One of them might be Christian Horner himself. But I think you could sell them, but it wouldn't quite be the same because Red Bull have been so important to this sport
It's so
in other
dominant.
ways, in building up people like Max Verstappen, and they built Dan Ricciardo, who was the personality of the track, and they let him be the personality.
Yeah.
And they have the energy station, like all those things. The sport is lacking a lot of what Red Bull used to bring to the table. At the moment, they're not bringing any of that. Max is a great guy. I love Max. I think he's a fantastic guy, but he's not the personality. Yuki Tsunoda's not the personality, because if they let him be the personality, he'll lose his marbles. Hadjar can't be the personality because he's too young and he's got to build his career. Like, they're not bringing that side of things anymore. It's just, yeah, it's an interesting one. It is such an interesting one. I was baffled that they've let it go down this path. However, I really do wonder if they've all left because Christian Horner has gotten too big for himself and they've just had enough of him.
Yeah.
Or he's just not working as hard as he used to.
Yeah, it's by
Jerry
all
might have...
By all reports,
Reined him in.
he's working hard. I mean, with this, and that's the next thing, with the powertrain thing going on.
Wow, that's a huge
You
gamble,
want that?
isn't it?
It's massive. If that goes backwards
Yep.
and they don't have the right leader,
It has to work, doesn't
mate.
it? It
Yeah,
can't even be
absolutely.
midfield. It has to be
has to be
really
superb.
strong
Yep.
component.
Yep. So yeah, I really worry for Red Bull at this moment in time. We'll see them succeed over the next few years. And maybe they have got some really great leaders that they've been wanting to bring up because of Horner,
Yeah.
and they haven't been able to. And we might see them flourish, but there's no real evidence of that just at the moment. But we'll wait and see. So, yeah, it's a really interesting one. Any other news you want to talk about?
Now, the Valtteri Cadillac looks pretty sound. I look
It's
forward
looked pretty sound for a while. Do you think
It
they've
has.
delayed that with the possibility of Valtteri stepping into the Alpine?
I listened to a really great high performance podcast episode over the break that we had, and they were talking to key figures in there. That it's a really great listen. If you haven't listened to it, I mean, obviously listen to ours, but jump on the high performance
After Hours.
and listen to that. Listen to the Cadillac episode because they talk really well about. Well, the driver is kind of the last thing we need because we need mechanics and we need infrastructure and we need to know how to run a race weekend and we need to know how to actually conduct a full race and, do a pit stop practice and who's going to be where. There's so many other
They've
things.
got their first bloke.
Yeah, there's
left
so many
wheel
other
man.
things that they're grabbing first and they're saying that the driver is last and that there's no shortage of inquiries. Thanks so much. We'll get to you later. But, I'll be more shocked if we don't see Valtteri in a Cadillac.
But surely they wouldn't then follow that up with Sergio as a second.
I think that'd be a pretty good pairing, to be quite honest.
I don't know. I'd still like to see something fresh in there.
If you're starting from ground zero and you want some people
So
who
who
know
are
how to
you
do
suggesting? Perez and Bottas?
stuff, I think Perez and Bottas would be a great way. If you're starting from ground zero,
I was always very dubious of the Hulkenberg-Magnussen pairing.
Yep.
And it probably worked in the end.
it kind of
didn't
did, yeah.
Even though it didn't work three times before that.
No, yeah.
Like it was like, oh my god.
I mean, they
they're
went
not-
back to it, which is unusual.
Yes, and it probably worked better the second time they went to it.
I think it did second time.
But yeah, so I don't mind. I'm with you. I don't mind it to start with.
Yeah.
I just can't see how America can get excited about Formula One without an American driver. But in saying that, we've seen it not work when it wasn't the right one.
Scott Speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I think
Logan Sargent
Logan,
was the
yeah.
latest one. So you've got to have the right one. And so if it means holding off, well, you may as well go get a Mexican.
Yeah.
And at least you're going the Americas.
And Valtteri's got a personality that anyone can gravitate to, so it's a pretty good combo for me.
Has anyone heard or seen of Dan Ricciardo other than his ads lately?
No.
I haven't seen him or doing anything.
There was a
recently,
karting championship, I think, in WA where a young kid asked and said, "Are you coming to Cadillac?" And he says to the kid, "Nah, mate, I'm done." That's it. And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's disappointing."
Yeah, so there's been a few like that. No, so it's probably not so much that, but if I were them, I'd go and get Dan
as a promotion
as your ambassador.
Yeah,
over Sergio.
Oh, see, I don't even know if I'd.
No,
I don't know if I'd race him. If Dan's not interested, you stay away from it. But you give him so much money to come and promote in America because he's the best American there is other than an American.
Well, they talk about this on the episode that I listened to where they were questioned about Dan and said, "Would you go and ask him?" And that was his exact response: that if we have to convince someone to do it, then they're the wrong person.
Yes,
you got to want it.
But whether that's just he doesn't want to build up that expectation because that train, as soon as Dan makes any sort of motion like, oh, it could happen, that gets out of hand really quick.
Yep.
And he doesn't need that in his life.
No,
but unless if he's keen, then it opens the question. If he's certainly not keen, you go and get him just to be your promoter.
Absolutely.
And it's big, it's huge. So
Doesn't have the personality, but Zhou. What about Zhou? With a bit of experience, him and Valtteri were pretty comparable.
I'd take Checo every day of the week over Zhou.
I'd take Checo.
Big Chinese market.
I'd take Checo over Bottas. Checo for me is the number one. Bottas is, I worry what happened at Sauber.
Yeah.
However, I worried what happened, and that's only as going through the Dan.
I reckon he's just saved it by going back to Mercedes and not going.
Yeah, well, but seeing Dan's later life after having a really poor year, like, is that going to be Bottas now? And so that's my only holdback. But then I think of the Hulkenberg of the world, and he's been able to keep it up. So
Sergio was rubbish at the end.
Yes,
I'm not saying
but so was everyone else, and that's the thing with Sergio. He was the least rubbish of all the other rubbishes.
That's right, yeah.
And everyone has been rubbish.
And the thing that goes in their favour is look at what he did in 21 and look at what Valtteri did for such a long time next to Lewis.
Yes, but that's an age ago now,
but
isn't it?
But it's the experience that Zhou doesn't
and that's
have.
probably for both of them, really. I mean, the last good outings was a long time ago.
We talk about like the move of Jonathan Wheatley and Mattia Binotto to Sauber, that you've got to have people who know how to win in order to start winning.
That's my other concern with Cadillac is they're not necessarily getting enough Formula One people in. I like what they're doing, but
is that where Horner's going to end up?
It could be. That would be a wise move on their behalf. What's your prediction for Horner?
It might be it.
Do you think so?
Yeah, maybe. It's so...
The man is so arrogant. There is no way he's going to let them do this to him.
I just feel like it's... Because it was such a... Hey, thanks for winning last round. By the way, you're fired. It just... There's something that's just not right.
Yeah, you're going down
too dodgy no one else will touch it.
There has to be a really... Yeah.
I just think it was just a political accumulation. Now's the time. We're going to hit him right now while we get everyone on board.
Yep.
I think that's the reason. But you could be absolutely right. I could be.
But it's a wealth of experience
for me,
sitting there waiting for someone to grab.
For me, I would say Alpine.
Yep.
And he becomes a part owner at Alpine.
Yep.
Turns back into Renault.
Yep.
Who he had some success with that brand for a while, and he eventually takes it over in a full capacity. I think he wants to be Toto Wolff.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that'll be where he is. But Cadillac would not be silly to go and pick him up. That's for sure. I think if there's anyone that's learned how to develop a new team, holy moly,
you could pick him up and not announce that you've picked him up either, and just hire him and just keep him in the background.
Well, he's still on contract.
I don't think. Yeah,
No,
well, he's
but
on
still
guarding leave.
contract, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I don't think that's Horner either.
No, but you could do
Yeah.
that if you wanted. If you were concerned about your brand damage or something like that, you could hire him and say, "Hey, we're going to hire you as like a consultant sort of thing. We're not going to announce to anyone that we've hired you. Here's X amount of money. Help us with what we're doing."
So the rumour mill around the sprint races hasn't been announced. Where did you hear it?
It was on. There was something popped up.
Yeah, so it hasn't been announced, but rumoured to be Canada, the Netherlands. But I thought the Netherlands was the last race this year. Or was it next year's last race?
Next year.
Oh, okay. Netherlands, Singapore, and then alongside Britain, China, and Miami. I think Miami was going to be again. So, yeah, that's the rumour, but it hasn't been officially announced as of yet, from what I'm having a look at. Any other news you want to talk about?
No, that's it.
It'll be interesting. Yes, we're off to Hungary.
Hungary.
Oscar's last win.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oscar's
first win.
first win.
Sorry, Oscar's first win.
First, well, yeah, it was too, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
it was his last
Handed the
win.
win.
Monday was his last.
Handed it
Sorry,
back, wasn't
Sunday was his last win. So this coming one will be his last win as well. I'm backing Oscar all the way for this one.
Well, I backed him in the last one, so
Yep, I did too. So yep.
full points. Yeah, I like the Hungary Grand Prix, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hungary. I like the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah, Oscar for win for me. Who should win?
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah,
Who you
Oscar.
going with, Shane? Alex?
I'm going to go. Maybe no. I'm actually Lando. Lando loves this track. He said it the other night.
He has done well,
and
yeah.
Like last year, he was pulling away from Oscar, and they had to. That obviously caused that controversy that actually soured
Yeah,
Oscar's win.
Didn't get
but-
the lead by himself, though, did he? Okay. Any other
I
predictions?
really
for that?
don't want Lando to win.
No,
But,
I understand. No, I understand.
No.
No, it's shaping up to be a great season, isn't it? There won't be a fan frenzy this week. I'm sorry, folks, due to me going away to Queensland. However,
You've pulled rank and cancelled everything.
yes, that's right. When it's time to defrost, I've got to get up there and defrost. So yeah, and then next week's episode is going to be late. If that's
Well, we got a summer break, so I think everyone will be. You just have to.
Oh, I've got some good episodes due for summer break. We've just got to get them together.
Have you?
We
Okay.
always threaten, but I've got some good ones.
You
for
do
us.
threat. Well, you didn't feature the whiteboard tonight. We mentioned the whiteboard, and you were like,
Yeah.
left it there.
Yep.
left it there, just
It's not
doing its thing.
Yeah, it's marinating in the names that are there so far. So, yeah, we'll get there. But until then, thank you very much, and goodbye now.